Hey everyone, I just want to get on here today to talk a little bit about the importance of understanding how and why we make decisions. So, on this journey that we have here in this plane, as spiritual beings, we want to heal ourselves to be able to come into our truest self, to really come into our authority and our power. But the only way for us to be able to do that is to understand, how and why we are making these decisions. Because once you start looking at how and why you are making those decisions, you start to see what programs have already been put in place in you, what things that are affecting, your actual growth. If you don't understand how you make a decision or even why you're making the decision, then you don't understand, your the energy and the basically the vibration and the frequency flow of yourself. You have to be able to understand that so that you can be able to fix these things, heal yourself, because a lot of the decisions that we make are based off of past traumas. And when I say traumas, I don't mean, something bad or good. It could be either way. You know, you have to be able to understand, exactly where these decisions are coming from, and why you are actually making these decisions in order to heal yourself and grow and to come into your true self. Once you start learning more about, you basically your decision making process and your thought process and your energy process, then you start understanding more about yourself, the way that you interact with this world, the way that you're learning, to go about this journey that we call life. So you have to be able to understand that there's going to be times where things are going to be rough. There's going to be times where things are good, but you have to understand why and how you interact with these decisions and different things that are going on. How is these things happening to you? Why are they happening to you? Because once you start to understand that, then you can start to be able to take control of your own self. And a lot of people want to take control of different things in life, and it's not really about control, but it's about you understanding who you are and having that control of yourself. Because the only thing that you really can control, the only thing that you have, full authority and power over is yourself. So you have to be able to understand, where these decisions and where these thought processes are coming from so that you can really make these decisions for yourself. Don't make these decisions based off of a past experience. Don't make these decisions based off of how something happened in the past or how you think something might happen in the future. Make your decisions off of what your energy is telling you. What is your spirit telling you? What is the frequency and vibration that you were naturally born with telling you? Because we start to go about this world and we start to get affected by the different experiences and different energies that we come in contact with. And we have to be able to understand that these things have altered, basically our original blueprint, our original grids. And if you don't understand, what that means, it's everybody has a personal grid. We talk about, like ley lines of the earth and the earth grids and the sky grids and, different grid work that can be done. But people don't realize that you have a grid work within yourself. There is an energetic grid that you are born with, that you came into this system, with, that holds your true authority, holds what you were meant to do, holds all the information that you need to have about yourself. And as you're going through this journey, you start to get affected by different energies and different experiences and different things that are going on, and it ends up altering, basically your personal grid. And once you start to realize that your grid is being altered, then you could be like, okay, well, how do I shift it back to its original flow? How do I shift it back to my original vibration? There's many different ways to do this, meditation, different spiritual practices, mindfulness, really just, connecting with yourself and your higher self, your spirit guides and everything else. Once you start connecting with these things, it'll start helping you to get in touch with your grid and see what things need to be altered, what things need to be changed. There's also, other things that you can do. On my website, Tenacious Spiritual Wellness, I take care of, different spiritual things like that. I can help you to reset your grid. But if you want to do it for yourself, there's multiple different things that you could do. These are just a few things that I'm talking about how to reset your grid. And it's really important that people start to understand that your original grid, your energetic grid, is where your authority and your power lies. It's how you use your energy. It's how your energy is using you. And when I say your energy is using you, I mean it's using your physical body, using your mental body. You know what I mean? Because you are a spiritual being out here controlling this mental and physical body that you are in. So you have to understand that, your energetic grid is your spiritual grid. It's your original blueprint. It's your original self. And once you start to go deeper into that, you'll start to understand more things about yourself. And you'll start to understand how you really maneuver in this world, how you maneuver through the different planes, how you maneuver, say, through your different, spiritual, mental, and physical grids that are out here, because everything is set up in a way to where you can basically access these things, but the only way you can access them is to understand yourself. The key to accessing yourself are these different mindfulness practices, are these different things that you can do in order to really connect with yourself. A lot of people want to open their third eye. They want to, be able to manipulate elements. They want to be able to do all this stuff. But really and truly, what you're wanting to do is basically fix your inner grid and get back into the natural vibration, the natural frequency that you were born with. So you have to be able to understand, what is actually going on. And I take it back to how I started this video with where and how your thoughts are coming from. How are you making decisions? How are you actually maneuvering out here? And then looking at the programs and the different, things that have affected you throughout your life. And when I say affect you, I don't mean in a negative way, positive way. It's just, it has changed what your original, blueprint was. So you have to be able to understand, where these things are coming from in order to be able to basically reset yourself, get yourself back to that natural, loving, flowing frequency that you were born with, that natural frequency that you came here to do, that natural frequency that you came here to radiate, that you came here to actually put out in this world. And this is for all those people out there who are wondering, do they have that authority? Do they have that power within them? Yes, you do. You have that power within you. You just have to be able to come back into it. And once you start coming back into that power and authority, then you'll start to understand more about yourself. You start to understand more about the mission that you came here for. Because a lot of people are like, oh, certain people have missions, certain people have this. Everybody has a mission. Everybody has a journey that they're supposed to do. Everybody has a purpose that they came here for, that they came here to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this system. So you have to understand, exactly what that is. And by doing that, you have to understand, what has affected you in this plane. What has actually changed that vibration, that frequency that you came here with, in order to get back to that natural frequency. A lot of people talk about how, children and babies, they're very pure, they're innocent. It's not that they're pure and innocent. It's that their grids haven't been altered. Their grids haven't been affected. Because as a child, there's certain protection in place, in order to stop that from happening. Now, there's still going to be things that are going to affect them because they are seeing these things. They're experiencing all these different things in this world. But as you go along, you start to realize that, hey, now you're making decisions based off of what you see. As a child, you didn't make the decisions based off of that. You made the decisions based off of what you felt in your heart. You made the decisions based off of what you were originally here for. And then you start to change because whether it's people, environment, or whatever has affected you, you start to realize that, hey, things are different now. But it is time for all the beings out here to really come into that power, come into your authority, and understand who you are, why you are, and where you are. Because once you start understanding these main questions, and I'll always say this, you got to ask yourself questions, because once you start asking yourself questions, then you can start looking for the answers. And really, it's not just the answers. It's the answers that's going to lead you to more questions. That's going to lead you to other answers. That's going to lead you to more questions. And that is the journey. That is the basically, how do you put it? The journey, the aspiration that you should have is to discover more of yourself. Dive deep into who you are, where you are, and what you are. Because once you start doing that, then you can start to see, what are you supposed to be doing? And not even what are you supposed to be doing? What did you want to do when you came into this system? So just take some time and really think about these things, because it's very important for people to start understanding that, within themselves, they hold all this authority, they hold all this power, that was basically brought here with them. But they no longer have access to it because they've been affected. Their original grid has been altered. They don't have the same, circuitry for that electricity within them to be able to flow to the proper circuits in their body. Some people might call these meridians or, chakras, or however you want to put it. And you have to be able to understand that once you start to be able to tap into these different things within you, then you're able to actually, use that energy, use that power. It's like a circuit board that hasn't, been wired up properly. If the wires aren't going where they're supposed to be, then it's not going to fulfill its purpose that it was made for. So you have to be able to rearrange, solder, and, whatever you have to do in order to get this back to where it was supposed to be, in order to, fulfill that purpose. Because you could change up the wiring, you could change up the grid work, and now it's a totally different thing. It might only be one thing that's missing. It might be, say a bunch of things. Who knows? That's for you to figure out and you to understand. As to where you can actually do these things in order to come into your authority and come into your power. Because once you start coming into your power and your authority, then you realize all the different possibilities. You understand all the different ways that you can actually, radiate out that frequency, that vibration that you've been wanting to. A lot of people want to feel that, like they have that purpose. They want to feel that they are fulfilling their purpose, that they are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and actually, be fulfilled by it. But you can't do that if you're not living in your own frequency. You're not living, with your authority, with your power. You have to understand where you are and what you are before you can even do any of these things that you've been wanting to do. And once you start coming more into your authority and your power, you'll start to understand more. You'll start to see more things that are going around you, within you, more things that you are affecting, more things that you are really trying to do on the deeper levels. But you cannot do that without coming into your own power and understanding, exactly what you're doing, where you're doing it, and how you're doing it. So you have to be able to understand, what, why, and where all these different thoughts and decision-making processes are coming from in order to, bring yourself back to that original setting. Bring yourself back to that center. People call it Zen, Buddha head, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it. Before you can get to that point, you have to get back to the base point of what you came here for. You have to get back to that base point of what you wanted to do when you came to this system. You have to get back to that point where you actually have that authority and power within yourself, which is already there, but now you have it basically in your hand. You have it where you need it to be in order to understand what it's to be used for. So just take some time and actually think about these things, and hey, you might find some interesting things out.